Hey guys, this is 1 to 1 Gigawatts. This is episode 4 of our podcast, and this week's topic is versus movies and why they suck. So, speaking of versus movies, I'm going to start off with probably the most important thing. Have you seen the new King Kong vs Godzilla trailer? Yeah. Well, to be fair, you should have done because we watched it together when it came out. Yeah. Well, for anyone who's not familiar with what we're talking about, essentially, what studio actually makes the MonsterVerse movies? What is it? Legendary. Well, anyway, for anyone that doesn't know, um, the MonsterVerse, quote unquote, is what they're calling it, right? Is essentially a reboot of the Godzilla movies and the King Kong movies and anything that's monster related in that regard, right? Is the Yeah, they've got two movies that they're calling a verse, but I'm assuming what they're going to do is they're going to start adding to it and start adding like other things that are yeah. Marvel, DC, and this really is kind of like the only verses that I can sort of yeah, very true, very true. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, before we even talk about the trailer, right? I actually want to talk about this a little bit, right? Is that due to the C word, of course, like things have been a bit chaotic in terms of Hollywood and basically the so very funny. The, what the mozzarella? Yeah, the obviously due to COVID, things are a bit. Oh, too late now. I've already said it. Due to the thing that we must not name, um, things have been a bit AWOL. I've been a bit AWOL with Hollywood and the film industry in general, right? Well, to be fair, most industries in general, apart from the game industry, but that's a separate thing. Um, things have been a bit different, so I could understand why their scheduling and sort of the release of the trailer and the stills has been a bit delayed. But to release everything 2 months before the fucking film comes out. Now, for anyone that doesn't know this, right, that is ridiculous. Hollywood doesn't do that most of the time. It's like if they're gonna pump out a trailer for a movie, they're gonna put it out as early as possible, even if it's a teaser. We didn't even get a teaser until very recently. We've only just got our full trailer now. Bear in mind, right? Avatar, when that came out in 2009, had a trailer a year before it even came out. Different time. Yeah, different time, different time. But but most of the time, the latest they do it is 6 months before the movie comes out. At least 6 months. So yeah, 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 yeah. If that's the case, yeah, yeah, of course. Do you know what we could? Yeah, yeah. Actually, I've got an idea, right? Um, I'm not making any promises, but do you know what we could do? Is if we for some reason for whatever reason we can't go sit in the cinema, do you want to live stream us watching the movie? We could do that. That's a thing. Something we could do. Anyway, going back to the trailer. So as I said before, is that Hollywood doesn't necessarily normally do that. It's a very unusual thing for them to do, and I understand that the situation is a bit difficult for them. But it seems like to me, like we talked about this off stream too, is that for some reason the studio don't like this movie and they're throwing it under the rug, and I don't. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna quickly IMDb it and see what it got, because I actually kind of want to know. What? King of the Monsters? Oh yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is the place, right? You go for like that kind of thing, right? Oh yeah, let me get the okay, so the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is 43%, and the audience score is 83. That shows you like a big difference in comparison, right? And it's got 6 out of 10 stars on IMDb. Is there like a audience version? Non. Well, going by the Rotten Tomatoes review, it seems like the audience has liked it more than the critics do, which kind of explains a lot to do with this movie, to be honest. Because, like, I remember when it came out, and we even said, it's like, why has it been pandered so much? It's actually pretty good. Like, we watched it in the cinema, and I loved it. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so cool. Well, I like. Yeah, yeah, because I pointed this out, right? Is that I even I theorized. Do what you said about the leak, right? Is if anyone hasn't seen the trailer, go watch the trailer. It's amazing. Okay, is that in the beginning of the trailer? Spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen the trailer, if you have not seen the trailer, go please watch it now and then come back here. So in the beginning of the trailer, you see like a city explode. I'm not sure what city it is, but just a random city just explodes, right? It looks like maybe potentially in, I don't know, Asia somewhere. Japan, maybe China, maybe somewhere around there. Um, Building explodes, and then something comes out of it, right? But if you look at it, you see it like all mechanically looking, and it has like it has fucking lights on it and everything. So it's very clearly to me that is Mecha Godzilla, like very clearly that's Mecha Godzilla. So yeah, yeah, mm, yeah, that'll be a Mm. It'd be a really good twist as well, because like they even say in the trailer like Godzilla's doing stuff that he doesn't normally do. So it suggests to me that this isn't actually the real Godzilla we're seeing, and is in fact potentially Mecha Godzilla. Now there could be some other reason why it actually might be Godzilla that we find out in the movie, but for me, this is what I personally think. It is Mecha Godzilla, and he's who's pretending to be Godzilla, and then and then this entire fight is going to be basically Kong versus Mecha Godzilla essentially, and then or it could be the opposite way around. Kong's gone to go and find Godzilla and then blamed him for whatever trauma it's caused him, because from the trailer it seems like this little girl, he's quite attached to. So, and it also suggests in the trailer that Godzilla accidentally kills her somehow. So, mm, mm, yeah. But I think my theory is, I reckon is the Mecha Godzilla set it all up, and then Kong fights the real Godzilla for I don't know, maybe whatever, right? And then it turns out to be that it actually was this entire fake Godzilla all along, and then what I don't know, whatever happens. But yeah, the big fight where they're on the aircraft carrier, where Kong just like straight up fucking right hooks Godzilla in the face. He grand slams him in the face, like Godzilla literally just don't know what hit him. He's like, what the fuck? Like, he's like if you look at him, right, he looks like he's in a daze. Like, do you ever see a boxer who's been punched really hard and then they go into that like daze where they don't know like where like what's going on? Like, that's exactly what Godzilla's going through right now. He's been like fucking 1 KO'd. He's like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, he's like, go back in the sea, back to the depths. Mm. Yeah, Kong's got thumbs, dude. Like he can like he makes a fucking battle axe in this fucking trailer. Like what does that not say? Like he can use weapons. Like how has he not got? Yeah, he blocks his breath with an axe and just fucking top swings him. Like if you're saying that Godzilla's gonna like got a big advantage, I don't know, man. I think Kong's pretty much got this in the bag. Like realistically. Yeah, yeah. Oh, like from a distance, maybe Godzilla's got it. Like, to be fair, we're not saying Godzilla's weak or Kong's weak at all because they're both very formidable. It's just like I don't know, man. This trailer's like basically depicting Kong as being this badass dude. Like he's fucking Godzilla up in this trailer. Yeah, it is a big shame, right? Hang on, before we start talking about that, I want to talk a bit more about this, right? Is that also there's a bit where Kong's just swinging fucking monsters around. And he's just like, you're yeeting them across the fucking like land. Yeah, of course. Like it. I don't know how this movie's gonna be. Maybe it's what we think it is, or maybe it's completely something different. I am very much looking forward to it. Yeah, it's got to be dumb fun. If it's dumb fun like the previous movies were, it'll be amazing. But going back to our main subject of the day, right? Is going back to the whole versus movie thing, okay? Because this is the reason why we're bringing this up, because this is like a new entry into this sort of yeah, they suck sometimes, quote. Um, so this entire video is to basically be about like the whole versus movie. And what do we mean by this? Okay, is exactly how King Kong vs Godzilla is, right? It more or less is two movie franchises bridging over to fight each other. There's not a lot of these movies because it's kind of a niche genre. It's more, yeah, but the reason we're bringing it up is because every every t- yeah, it's not going to win an Oscar. It's not going to win Best Picture. It's dumb fun at the end of the day, right? But most of the time these movies are done, they never work. They absolutely fucking suck. Like, yeah, but that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. Mm. It's to pull in two audiences to go and potentially see this movie, and this is exactly what they are. They're essentially like, we're gonna throw two big icons in, and then we're gonna get people to move it. And the reason why I want to talk about this, right, is because why is it that every time these movies are made, right, is that there's never a victor in them? And it annoys me so much because, like, if you're going to make a crossover movie where two characters fight, right? Okay, right. We'll talk about the two biggest examples that I can think of right now. No, no, there isn't though. There isn't because they both lose at the end. Like, there isn't a victory at all. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, if you no, he doesn't because Freddy's still alive because he laughs at the end. But yeah, but it's suggesting that Jason's in a dream. So there's no technical victor. And this is what annoys me about these movies, is because every time they're made, right, is there's no clear victor. If you're going to make a versus movie where one side's going to verse the other, at least have a victor. It doesn't matter who gets pissy and upset about it, because at least you've got a victor. There is nothing bigger than a fucking cop-out than having it as a draw. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. But the thing is though, like, is in those ones, the reason why they win is because Batman's the hero and Dracula's the villain. That's different. Like, for these movies where it's either two villains or two heroes going against each other, there is no clear winner, and there never is. Mm. But we're mostly talking about in this sort of situation. We're talking about mostly the modern day Hollywood ones, in a sense, right? Is that yeah, yeah, like Alien vs Predator, Freddy vs Jason, those ones. No, I would definitely disagree with you, because do you know what happens? Right, okay, right. We're gonna sum up Alien versus. Okay, do you want to do Freddy versus Jason first, or do you want to talk about Alien versus Predator first? We'll talk about Alien versus Predator first, because then we'll lead into the Freddy versus Jason one, right? Is that Alien versus Predator? Okay, so the plot is, if anyone hasn't seen it, I'll summarize the plot for you. Okay, essentially, Weyland Yutani, who's the big evil corporation in the Alien franchise, if you didn't know that, the big, the corporation is what they call it in the first movie, but in Aliens it gets a name, right? Weyland Yutani, the big CEO of that company, finds this thing under the ice in the Antarctic, like a big signal, right? And they go to this signal and they find out it's a pyramid. Okay, and this pyramid is like an ancient predator pyramid where they kept like xenomorphs in there to basically hunt them and use them for sport. So they go to this pyramid, they unlock it, they find the aliens in it. The aliens, obviously attach to them, implant in them, breed, so on and so forth, right? And then the predators come from whatever planet they come from and then hunt them. And that's the plot of the movie in a nutshell, okay? But what happens at the end, like, I know what you're trying to say, right? Is that, whoa, you could say the Predators won because they destroyed all of them. No, they didn't, because do you know what happened? The Predator got face hugged and had an alien implanted in him, which caused more problems for them in the sequel. Because, right, when he won, quote unquote, there's a scene where he essentially a facehugger tries to face hook him, but he throws a shuriken, right, and cuts it in half. And now in the movie, it states that in order for them to be worthy of becoming a predator, they have to brand themselves with the mark of the alien using its blood, which is acidic, of course, right? So he takes his mask off to mark himself to say that he's a warrior, right? And then as he does that, I see like a facehugger face hooks him. So he get yeah, that's the exact one. Yeah, yeah, they do. They nuke it from space. But then they leave the fucking rec room open for a sequel, because don't they find like the Predator's weapons in a crate or something, and then they go, "Oh shit," or some stuff like that. I can't remember exactly what happens. Yeah, Joe Art Requiem. If you could see what was going on, would be bet would would make more sense, but you can't fucking see because it's so goddamn dark, right? I don't know what creative design they went through where they went, do you know what, we really need to make this movie unseeable. Perhaps they knew it was bad and they just thought, let's just hide it with darkness. Yeah, it is like, yeah, I was, yeah. I've watched, like, I was excited for it when it came out, because I was a big I was a well, do you know what? Fucking Requiem was like weird. Okay, like there's a scene where the Pred alien, because it suggests that the Pred alien is also, not only is it a mixture between a predator and an alien, but it's also partly a queen as well, right? Because I don't know if you know this in the xenomorph biology, is that there's two types of face hookers realistic. There might be more. If there's any actual diehard fans, they could correct me on this. But from what I remember, there's two types of facehuggers. There's the normal ones, which produce drones and the standard ones, right? Then there's a special one, which is a queen one. And what the queen will do is when she feels like she's nearing her end or life cycle, she'll produce this facehugger so that she can then live on, basically. Like she will be able to, like a nest will be able to have a queen. I'm not exactly sure if that's true or if there's other reasons why a queen facehugger is produced, or it might be every like 300 one of those comes out as a queen. No idea, right? But so this queen must have had to produce this special facehugger, and then like the odds of that facehugger finding a predator, and like after, do you know what? It's completely. Well, in this movie, I think maybe in the movie they didn't think about it at the time. We're not sure if it. The thing is, though, it never explains if it's to do with the facehugger being a queen one, or if it's to do with the biology of the predator making it to be that way. Because like later on in the movie, right, is that you find out the reason why the aliens keep populating again is because the pred alien is a queen, and it's able to like essentially directly facehug people and implant eggs straight into them. That was weird. Because it's that really fucked up scene where like it face hooks like this woman in like this like pregnant woman in a hospital, and the other woman's screaming, and then like the baby, like the chest hook, like the chest bursts pop out her stomach. It's really fucking weird. It is kind of fucked up, but that happens. Yeah, that happens. It's weird as shit. Don't know why they chose to do that. Really weird. But yeah, that happens. That happens in Requiem. Also, what else happens in that fucking movie? Basically, yeah, it's like an entire town gets like succumbed to xenomorphs, right? It's like a shitty 30 Days a Night, but without the vampires. That's a really good movie, by the way, if you ever want something to watch. Yeah. Wait, doesn't like the lead vampire say that? Noga. Yeah. Oof. But yeah, that's like Requiem more or less. It's like they're the big the whole plot of the Requiem is the fact that essentially the predators know they done fucked up, right? Is that they know they done goofed. So the predator that comes out of the predator that they bring onto the ship at the end of the first one hatches, matures, becomes a problem, basically crashes the ship onto a town, and then the predators have to clean it up to erase evidence if they ever did it. One does, but he's supposed to be like this elite hunter, right? He's supposed to be the creme de la creme. He's he's a high spec janitor. It's called Alien vs. Well, the first one's called Alien vs Predator. Then the second one is called Aliens vs Predator. Why? Why they chose to do that, I don't know. Because it suggests in the first one that there's just one alien, but there's multiple. Why? Why? Yeah, it's a weird thing. But anyway, putting that terrible movie aside. But what I'm trying to say is that even in that movie, there's no defining winner. Because do you know what happens? They both kill each other at the end. And then the humans just nuke the town anyway. So this is what I was trying to say is that in the first one there's no winner, in the second one there's no winner. It's still a fucking draw. Like if you're gonna do these movies, have a decisive winner. Like it doesn't matter who gets upset about it. Like you've got to have a winner, because what's the point of watching a movie for them not to be a winner? And this brings me to my next point. Backs this up: Batman vs Superman. You know what happens to that? You know what happens to that movie at the end? They decide that, oh shit, they've been fighting for a stupid reason because they've been fighting over the name Martha, which is the stupidest reason I could ever think of. Well, it'll be Mechagodzilla. That's exactly what it's going to be. Maybe. Do you know what I'm going to say it's going to be? It's going to be either Mechagodzilla or Mechaghidorah, that they both come together and fight that instead. Yeah. But at least in those movies, they're like, there's a reason for them to pull together. Batman vs Superman didn't do it very well because it sucked, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Like, go. I guess Yeah, it's. I guess we technically could include it because it is technically a versus movie. It just doesn't have the versus in the movie title. But essentially, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? Is that it is one side versus another. As a oh god, oh god, that'd be an awful movie title. But yeah, my point. You need help, sir. You have a problem, sir. I actually could not remember anything about that movie. Right? Can you actually remember what actually happens in that movie? Because I am struggling, apart from the stupid ending, to actually remember what even happens in that movie. All I know is that there's yeah. Because does it yeah yeah doesn't he see like Wayne Tower being destroyed by Superman or something? And then all the yeah, but from his perspective, right? Because does Superman get thrown through a building or some shit, and then he like destroys the building, kills everyone inside, which no one really seemed to address at the time. But I'm glad they addressed it in this movie because if you think about it, Superman killed like so many people, like, and they never brought that up. No idea. Don't question the movie logic. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I remember. I remember like Lex Luthor is basically like the catalyst of why things get as bad as they do. Because doesn't he basically egg like Batman on to like fight Superman or something, and then give him the means to destroy him or something? I can't remember exactly. Yeah, yeah. Also, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. What? Why did they do that? Like what? Oh yeah. Oh, it's so weird. Why? Like. Yeah, I like how he just accepts it. He's just like, all right, and then just moves on. Yeah, yeah. It's like, like does Super? No, Superman can't really do that in like the comic books, right? Is it? It's weird. Something like that. It's something to do with like I know Lex Luthor plays a big part in screwing them both over in a sense, right? Is that Yeah. What? Also, why did they do that? Why did they do Doomsday? Oh, everything's starting to come back to me. I remember now because don't they put like not Superman's body? Who is it? Who is it? Zod's body. Yeah, yeah. They put his body into like some like pool of water or something shit like right that, and then it turns into Doomsday. It's so weird that they took like they went, oh yeah, let's just submerge his body, do some weird shit, boom, Doomsday, done, easy peasy, go. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's stupid. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think every person who has seen this movie, right, or at least the critics that I watched when it came out, they all said it's like, why didn't they just talk it out? They could have literally figured it out within 2 minutes if they actually fucking spoke to each other like human beings. Yeah, yeah. And then they had that stupid scene at the end where they both say Martha, and then it comes then that real. Mm, yeah, yeah. It makes no fucking sense. And then they get that confusion. It's like, oh, I thought I was confused. Blah 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 blah. And then it's like the fucking pieces falling together. And then don't they collaborate at the end to stop Doomsday? Right? Yep. Yep. It was a stupid movie. Like the whole, I'm not against the whole Batman vs Superman thing because if it was done correctly, it could have worked really well. But they chose the stupidest reasons. Yeah, yeah. Because this is like the prologue to Justice League, which was a big pile of crap. Wait, okay. Just as a quick brief thing, isn't there supposed to be the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League coming out soon? Hang on. Hang on. The Zack Snyder's Justice League cut. Okay. No, that's just an article. When's this supposed to be coming out? Oh, they're doing it until March 20. Yeah, March 2021. It's not gonna. I'm sorry to break it to everybody. It's not gonna change anything. Yeah, yeah. Mm, yeah. It's not like look. It's not going to change anything. The movie was already bad. Having a different director direct it, yeah, it might make some differences, and maybe some footage will be included, and maybe some but it's not going to change the fact that the movie was a pile of garbage. I'm sorry to break it to everybody. The movie was a pile of garbage. It was like I understand that a bit. Yeah, an hour and a half, and yeah, it might make the effects look better, and maybe things will look a bit better. It's still not going to change the plot of the movie. The movie is essentially still the same. It's going to still be garbage. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Mm. And establish a universe first. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It is gonna. Do you know what? Do you know what? I could be surprised, and I could think it's really good when I watch it, but I highly doubt it. I'll be honest with you. I highly doubt it. Yeah. Same. 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 Mm. Yeah. But anyway, going back to the actual main subject. Right? I actually forgot to put this up on the fucking slide. I just remembered. But yeah, it is. But yeah, going back to the main subject at hand and why the versus movies don't work is that my some I guess work. Like the only ones that I could say work are probably like the really old ones, like the Godzilla ones, right? But the reason why they yeah, because every Godzilla movie in at the end of the day is that format anyway. So therefore, for those, it doesn't really count. But the ones that I was referring to and what I mentioned earlier is the like the new Hollywood era ones, right? Which is like Alien vs Predator, Freddy vs Jason. How much do you remember of Freddy vs Jason? I rewatched it like I want to say like a couple of years ago. So for me, it's like as it's probably a lot fresher than you. So I do remember this movie. Mm, yeah, yeah. It's really weird. Like, cause if I remember right, nah, I could be wrong because I haven't watched like Friday the 13th in quite a while. Um, but they never mentioned that he has a weakness to water in it. He comes out the water most of the time in those movies. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I like, no. I've heard that. I've heard that like most of it is like not even set in New York at all. It's like the last 10 minutes. It's like the stupidest thing. I remember the space one and remember how weird that was. Yeah. Yeah, they turn him into a cyborg for some weird reason. Like the do you know what I love about those movies, right? And even since the Nightmare, not Nightmare Before Christmas, that's a fucking different movie. Nightmare on Elm Street is that with those movies they just have fun with them later on. Is like they stop taking them as seriously as like the first like two or three were, and they just stop making fucking a joke out of them in a way. It's like not to the sense of like it being legit, just comical, but comical in the sense of like the kind of shit they put them through. It's so weird. And this is the problem is that I think Freddy versus Jason has, right? Is that I remember okay, so Freddy is supposed to be a comical character in a very weird way, right? He's supposed to be funny, but not in the sense of him being saying jokes, but funny in the sense is that sometimes he does weird things that is kind of funny. Or maybe he says like a one liner every so often. That is kind of funny. But this one just yeah, but like in this one, they just make him a comic relief character. No, it was a terrible idea to do those movies. Do you know what? All right, I'm gonna tell you a story about this movie. Actually, I remember when this film came out, and I remember this was at the time where I recently went to Florida or was going to Florida to go to Disneyland because my parents took me to Disneyland when I was really young. You had the same thing, right? You went to Disneyland when you was young too, right? Right. Okay. So I remember, right? Freddy versus Jason just came out in cinema, and one of my family friends went to America before we did because we were kind of going at a very similar time for some reason. Don't ask why. But they came back right, and the thing that they got me is that they got me a limited edition Freddy vs. Jason t-shirt. And yeah, they got me one. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know if I still have it. Maybe it's at my parents' house, right? Is that they got me this limited edition t-shirt because they obviously was like, oh, bring us something back from America. And this is what they brought me back. And I remember saying, why have you brought me this? Like, bear in mind, I was a kid, so I've never watched horror movies at that point until like later on when I started becoming obsessed with them. But at that point, that was my origin story. Maybe that shirt is what brought me into the horror movie like obsession. Maybe that was it. That was the catalyst for the whole thing. But yeah, they brought me back this t-shirt, and I wonder if I could find it. If I find it, hang on. I wonder if I can actually find this. I haven't got my PC set up with my capture card, but hang on. Let me see if I can find it. But it was such an odd present to get, and I remember the shirt actually looking pretty good. Hang on. I wonder if I can find it. Hang on. It wasn't like anything special. Like it was like hang on. Yeah, this is it. This is kind of what it is. It looks something like this. Hang on. Let me just get it up on the stream. Let me just save this to the desktop. Okay, where is it? Okay. I don't think it's downloaded properly, but it was nothing special. Like it's literally just like the movie poster on a t-shirt, and then on the back it says it says something like see you in hell or something like that. It's such a it was just like the movie's like tagline, which I think we should do we should actually do a video on like terrible taglines, because there is some freaking funny ones. Oh yeah, here we go. Right, there you go. This is what it looks like. That was kind of what it looked like, right? Is that it looks sort of like this, and then on the back of it, it said like "See you in hell" or something, and that was basically it. It's like it's nothing special, but this is what it looked like. And apparently, something like that. It was like it was. I want to say it was like 2005, something like that. But I got told by the person. Yeah, but I know exactly why they did this movie. Is because at the time, Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th were kind of phasing out of like popular of like the sort of the of like the mainstream audience's sort of like film. What am I trying to say? They were starting to phase out basically as a franchise. Is what I was trying to say. They was essentially phasing out and fizzling out. So they made this movie to like bring hype back to them, right? I think this is the reason why they do these crossover movies, is to basically revitalize a dying franchise or two dying franchises, which is why Street Fighter and the Tekken thing kind of happened, because fighting games were kind of dying at the time, and they decided to make a video game to cross them over. But that's a different subject. But it didn't really work. I guess technically it kind of did, because we did get remakes for them, and now they actually kind of are actually doing fairly okay. Like, put it this way, Jacob: if a new Friday the 13th movie came out next week, would you go and see it? Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, so in a way, they kind of did do the job that they were supposed to be doing. They kind of brought new interest into a new generation, right? Okay, let's delete this now. But yeah, I guess that's the point of the movie. And did it succeed to that point? Yeah, I guess. Don't mean it's a good movie though. It's awful. There's a scene there is a scene in the movie, right, where there's a stoner character, because mandatory stoner character in every horror movie, right? And he's like smoking a spliff, and then he like gets trapped in the dream, and then Freddy rolls him up as a giant spliff, and then smokes him as a slug. It's so weird. And it's like I know that Freddy's supposed to be having this twisted sense of humor, but it's supposed to be terrifying. It's not. It's just hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah, it's hilarious for the wrong reasons. And through the entire movie, he's basically trying to because essentially the plot of the movie is that Freddy's been forgotten on Elm Street, which is obviously the street that he haunts to sort of gain his power and stuff, right? Is that he's been basically forgotten completely by everybody on Elm Street. So he possesses Jason to go and kill for him so that he becomes remembered again. That's it. That's the plot of the movie. That's it. Yeah, it's no, it's not. It's a very much like, even if you're a fan of both of those franchises, it's not. It's a very forgettable movie. But the point of the video that I'm trying to make, right, is what originally why I brought this subject up, is because these movies, they don't work, and the reason why they don't work is because for me, they never have a clear victor. Because even in the Freddy versus Jason one, you say, yeah, but didn't Jason technically win because he cut off Freddy's head? No, because Freddy was still alive, and it's heavily suggested that Freddy put Jason in a dream. So it's like a mutual, like, no one actually won through it, and it's the same with Alien vs Predator. No one actually wins through that one. Batman versus Superman, nobody won from that, and even the Avengers, right, Civil War, nobody wins in that movie either. They both just leave. That's like what happens in the movies. Like, they have this big fight and they just both leave, and that's it. And this is why I don't like. Well, it's not that I don't like these movies. It's just that, well, they are kind of crap. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna make one of these types of movies, at least have a victor in it. Even if it's bad, it's gonna piss people off. Have a clear victor, because that is a big problem for me personally. Is that not having an actual victor? Because it's like, well, what's the point of having them face off if no one's gonna win? The point of a fight is to see a victor, right? You won't go see a boxing match, right, against, like, I don't know who, like, modern day boxers are, right? But, like, let's say you had, like, a fight between two fighters, okay, both highly rated fighters. You wouldn't be satisfied with a victory, would you? And do you know what would happen if there was a victory? They'd have a rematch. Because look what happened with the KSI fight. They had a draw. They had a rematch. Yes, it was for money, and we understand that it was supposed to draw in so much more money from the second one. I get that, but my point still stands, is that there was a draw and they had a second fight to declare a winner. No, they should stop doing them in the first place. They should have never been a thing to begin with. Yeah, but this like, and the Godzilla ones. But the thing is, like we mentioned about the Godzilla one, is that the reason why they're technically versus movies is because it's always Godzilla versus something, and it's kind of where this whole, like, thing came from anyway. Because Godzilla originally crossed over with King Kong, and that's kind of where it came from. But I understand this is a very niche movie genre, and if it's a genre at all, probably isn't. But that's what I wanted to bring up with this podcast. It's just that these movies fucking suck. Stop making them, or if you are going to make them, they have a clear victor, and that's what I want to say on the subject. You got anything more to say, Jacob? The only ones that seem to work are the Godzilla ones. Like, it only seems to be really, like, the ones that really work are, like, the old, like, Dracula. Yeah, the ones that know they're crap and they're basically doing it because they know that, right? Like the whole Dracula versus whoever, right? Or, like, you know, King Kong versus Godzilla. I am interested in seeing the new one, but again, that's just because it's a MonsterVerse thing. And I mean, is it going to be good? I don't know. We'll find out. Like, if they play to exactly what I think they're going to do, which is just two things fighting each other, great. I just hope they don't have a fucking draw in it, because it's going to be stupid if they do that. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on the subject. I hope everyone enjoyed our podcast today. I know it's a bit of a short one, really, for what we normally do, because normally our ones are like an hour to 2 hours long. But yeah, this is just one thing that I kind of wanted to bring up. More an excuse to really talk about the King Kong vs Godzilla trailer more than anything, because I know how excited we both are for that. So, oh yeah. Oh yeah, fucking hell, we'll be here till next year doing those. But yeah, we'll definitely do the MonsterVerse stuff, because I said I really enjoy those movies. I take them for what they are, which is just dumb fun. Yeah, but that's essentially what they are. They're just dumb fun, and that's what makes them great. Definitely, definitely. But yeah, thank you to everybody who watches our podcast. Thanks for watching this episode. As I said, like, this is just our opinions on the stuff. Like, you don't have to take it too seriously. Like, this is just one thing that annoys me about these movies more than anything. And I don't say it's like it's detrimental to be saying that these are all crap because of this, but it's just, you know, it's just like a thing that I've noticed that Hollywood seems to do with these movies is they're very indecisive with them, and they need to be more firm and give a decision. But anyways, thank you so much to everybody for watching our podcast. We've got some videos in the works of like ideas that we want to do. But yeah, we'll definitely announce on Twitter when we are doing those. But yeah, thank you so much for watching our podcast. Tune in for the next one, and we'll see you guys next week. So bye.